Welcome to Kalamazoo, Michigan, the campus of Western Michigan, as UC Riverside will be taking on the Broncos in less than 1 hour. Geoff Gorham, I'm Fernandez, and this is your official UCR preview show here on the Inland Sports Channel.
It's official, and I'll tell you what, it's been from Timbuktu to Kalamazoo. We have been all over the world, it seems like, in the last 5 days, and we're going to end our road trip here in Western Michigan. The snow's on the ground. Kind of a nice day.
It is a nice day. The sun's out, which I hear doesn't happen a whole lot around here, but there's snow on the ground. And, Geoff, we're pretty good travelers, but I got to admit, before we break down this matchup, going from Denver to Grand Rapids, our flight, it really messed me up. Like, I still feel motion sick, and I thought maybe it was just in my head, but you said that was one of the worst flights you have ever been on.
You know, I'm quite the globetrotter, and I'll tell you what, I've been on probably hundreds of flights in my lifetime. That one ranked as number 2 all-time worst flight ever. I thought we were going to be on, you know, that TV show Lost. We were going to go down. You and I were going to be scavenging for food somewhere
on an island in Lake Michigan.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it was a bumpy ride. It was better than any ride at Disneyland or Magic Mountain combined. I had 2 little kids next to me fighting.
The Gorham boys.
Yeah, they were like the Gorham. It was just like being at home. I had these 2 boys. They were brothers, about the same age as my 2 youngest, and they were just beating the heck out of each other right next to me. Well, the entire time I was thinking about my family, and I was going to hold your hand and cry in your arm.
They were climbing on each other. They were fighting. They were laughing. In fact, at one point, one of them fell asleep on you.
Yeah, he fell asleep, and his head was in my armpit for about an hour.
Well, besides that, yeah, it was a very turbulent ride over here, and I still don't feel right. Like you say, it's jet lag. I'm motion sick. I don't know what it is. I just don't feel right ever since that plane ride.
It's the general malaise of being on the road, and we've been through 3 different time zones. And it usually hits you 2 or 3 days later, and that's where it's got you.
So just so we can map out our trip real quick before, again, we kind of break down this matchup. We flew from Ontario to Denver, right? And then we drove down to Colorado Springs.
Yes.
And we stayed the night there, and then we played Air Force in near Colorado Springs, then drove back to Denver, stayed another night at a different hotel, flew out the next morning from Denver to Grand Rapids, and then drove from Grand Rapids to Kalamazoo, where we stayed last night.
Yes.
Now we have the game against Western Michigan today. After the game, we're already packed up. We drive straight to Detroit, stay the night, and we got like the first flight out on Monday.
Yeah, we're going to get up at 5 o'clock Eastern time, which is that's when the bars close in California. We're going to be getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning our time, and yeah, four hotels in 4 nights in 5 days, 4 different hotels. A bit confusing to know where you put your head at night.
All right, well, to the matchups, and it wasn't pretty for the Highlanders in that loss against Air Force. They lost 72-60. Geoff, I don't know if it was the elevation as we were over 7,000 feet. I don't know what it was, maybe the travel, but they just did not seem right. They didn't have that kind of effort that you'd want to see. No,
and coaches, Coach Patrick and his staff can put a great game plan together, put in a good offense, but it boils down to one thing. The players have to give effort, and there just didn't seem to be that effort. Don't know if it was the altitude or just maybe, the mid-season blues, but you can't coach effort, and these guys need to come out tonight. They've got to play hard. Their 2 bigs only had 3 rebounds between the 2 of them, or the 3 of them. It just wasn't a good night, a stellar night for the Highlanders.
Now, you can listen to the game live here in Kalamazoo at GoHighlanders.com. The game will be at 1 p.m. Pacific time. At 12:45, we'll start our pregame show, and you will hear from UCR head coach David Patrick, and he says exactly that you've got to be able to defend and you've got to be able to rebound, especially on the road. UCR has been actually pretty great at home at the SRC Arena, but away from Riverside, it's that consistency. How do you play the same way at home as you do on the road? And they're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Their identity has been up and down, but we're starting to see what kind of ball club they are. They're great at home, but if they're going to be successful in the Big West, they've got to be able to steal wins. And this would be a great place right before the tune-up, before you get into the Big West. You got to get road victories.
So this Western Michigan team, they proudly hang their banners here inside of the arena, which is a pretty cool little place here in Kalamazoo. It's a great arena.
It's an old field house, old style basketball gym. They've turned it into an arena. You look at it from the outside, it looks like a barn. It's like if you're watching Hoosiers and then you kind of time forward, it still has that old school feel, but it's a newer environment.
It's a cool place. It's a cool place for college basketball. There's a lot of tradition in this place as well. They've made the NCAA tournament 11 different times. And Geoff, judging by the banners, the last time they made it to the Big Dance, last time they were in March Madness was 2014, so actually not too long ago.
No, and the thing is they've got a great coach, Steve Hawkins, who has some local ties. He went to Ventura High School. He's a Southern California native. But think of it this way. They almost have swept the University of Michigan 3 years in a row. They lost to them this year by 8, but they've won 2 of 3 from the national power and their rival, Michigan.
Yeah, so this is a very good team, and especially, again, being on your home floor accounts for a lot. Just ask UCR. They're a different team inside the SRC Arena, but at some point, if UCR wants to turn the corner, they're going to have to turn the page here on the road. They're going to have to pick up some quality wins, their first true road victory of the season, because they beat Elon. But that was part of the Pacific tournament. So so Elon was also at a neutral site. It wasn't like a home game for them either. They're still looking for their first true road win of the season.
Well, I'll tell you what, it will be tough because they have really 3 prolific scorers. 2, Michael Flowers and Seth Dugan, average over 15 points a game. And then Josh Davis comes in averaging almost 13 points a game. That is a lot of points between 3 guys, and they're averaging a ton of points. So Riverside is going to have to key on those guys, key on their 6'1" guard, Michael Flowers, who put up 30 on Michigan. The guy can play. He's a Division I superstar playing in a mid-major market. It will be tough for them to stop him.
And Geoff, as we were breaking down this contest, as you always love to do, when we go to these visiting schools, the visiting cities, Kalamazoo, Western Michigan in this case, some famous people have gone through these very hallways and lived in this very city.
Well, the most popular guy you'd have to say is, of course,
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter's in the Hall of Fame. No joke. There was the only thing that didn't have is it didn't have his 1922, 23, and 24 Quidditch championships.
Oh, that was a good run.
But the city of Kalamazoo has one big name, probably the biggest name and one of the biggest names in Yankee history.
And I had no idea.
Derek Jeter's from Kalamazoo.
The captain.
Yeah, so they've had some guys that have gone through this town, and it's a wonderful place, one of the nicer parts of Michigan. I know besmirching Michigan. I've been to a lot of places, but this is one of the nicer communities and cities I've seen.
Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the country. It's nice when the sun's out and you have snow on the ground. What a beautiful mix there, as UCR picked a good time to swoop into here, because when we left Colorado, it was snowing. I think it was colder in Colorado.
Yeah, in fact, it hit 1 degree, Pep. When you and I were we were cuddled in our hotel room. We didn't have a fire, but we had a nice TV.
But we had each other.
We had each other, and we've eaten well on the road. In fact, I just ate a nice sandwich, and I've got my my bag of chips right here. Got my Jimmy chips, and I'm fired up. I'm ready to go.
Should be a good contest. Again, you can listen to it live at GoHighlanders.com. In fact, head over there in about 20 minutes or so, and we will start our live pregame show, and you will hear from UCR head coach David Patrick. Inland Sports, like always, brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, Kin Sporting Goods, Boost Performance Training, and Catalano Motors in Corona. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you follow Inland Sports on Twitter, as well as we are streaming live in all those locations. In the Inland Sports Show, we will be back in the studio, not this upcoming week because it's New Year's, but the week after. So I think that's January 8th, I want to say.
Yes.
January 8th, we will be back in our TV studio. But until then, Geoff and I are just, like you said, globetrotters, just following the Highlanders around.
Yeah, we have one more tune-up next week versus Bethesda, but I'm sure you and I will get together sometime during the week and put together another Inland Sports TV show.
We probably will. Maybe I'll crash your party with you and your wife. You're going to hang out on New Year's Eve. Maybe I'll just say, hey, you know what? Forget the romance. Forget New Year's Eve and a quiet time amongst getting away from the kids amongst the parents. So, hey, let's do a show.
You're always welcome, Pep.
Let's do a show.
Always welcome.
All right, we're getting close to tip-off. We're going to wrap things up here from Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's going to be a good one as the Highlanders are taking on the Broncos, trying to get their first ever win and the first ever meeting between the two schools, between Western Michigan and UC Riverside. Geoff, if they can earn a split on this road trip, they dropped the one to Air Force. If they can get a win today against Western Michigan, I think you'll feel a little bit better heading back to the Inland Empire.
Yeah, I mean, they've played, a Mountain West Conference team and a MAC Conference team, two very big, powerful programs or powerful conferences here in the U.S. If they could split a win here, that would be great, and it would give them momentum heading into Big West play versus the Matadors. All
right, we'll check everybody out at GoHighlanders.com in just about 20 minutes as UC Riverside is taking on Western Michigan. For Geoff Gorham, I'm Fernandez, and we'll see you next time on the Inland Sports TV show.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road. You're going to save thousands of dollars at Catalano Motors. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
What's going on, guys? Coach Bass here. To all you football players, as season comes to an end, don't miss the opportunity to get better this offseason. We're rolling out our overtime strength training program. Our overtime program is a 3-6-week cycle that'll be starting on January 7th. We're going to have 3 levels: beginners, intermediate, and advanced for elementary, middle, and high school athletes. And what you can expect with our overtime program is what you can always expect here at Boost. Strength development, speed development. We're going to be doing performance testing and nutritional guidance to help you guys get bigger, stronger, and faster. So overtime's coming back. It's starting January 7th, and it's going to be better than ever. If you'd like to find more information about our overtime program that has served a lot of great athletes in the Corona-Norco area, feel free to contact us directly through Facebook, on Instagram at Boost Training, or Twitter, Boost_Training. Or reach out to us directly here at our gym at 951-532-4904.